It's after 5. You're listening to the home of the Afropolitan. This is Ndogozo Mbambo with Caesar Luele. And of course, that is the live version of that song. I did say earlier on that we're going to be talking about building your leadership confidence. And I'm talking to Confidence Seleme, who is our regular motivational speaker, who's going to give us his pearls of wisdom, as he normally does each and every single Monday. Confidence, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Sutu. Good morning to the listeners. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes. So, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about, as you rightly said, building your leadership confidence. And I want to start with a story. I think it's happened to a lot of us where you're driving and you're in a single lane road where, one lane is going that way, the other lane is going the other direction. And it's impossible to overtake because there's oncoming traffic. And in that single lane road, there's cars and cars and cars, and there's a traffic jam almost, maybe you're going at 40, 50 k's an hour. Mm-hmm. And at some point, maybe you get an opportunity to overtake, or maybe the lane divides into two. And as you drive and you're able to overtake, you look onto your left to see, what was causing the traffic. And in many instances, you find there was a truck that was going at maybe 40 or 50 or 60 k's an hour, and that was causing the traffic. And so the traffic, positionally, it's in a leadership position because it was in front. Mm-hmm. But when you assess the situation, it wasn't leading, it was in the way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there are many leaders today who have the position, they're in the front.
But they're just in the way.
They're just in the way.
On the continent, winning elections.
As we speak, case in point, the likes of Museveni. Uganda has been in leadership for 30 years. He does not want to get out of the way for new blood to come in, for new ideas, for innovation to come in. And when leaders are like that, they are in the way of progress. They are in the way of innovation. They're in the way of creativity. And one of the reasons that many leaders behave like that is because they lack leadership confidence. Mm-hmm. And I want to extrapolate that a little bit. When you lack confidence, it's not easy for you to usher other people to the front, because the spotlight must be on you. That spotlight is what gives you a sense of meaning. When people see you as the top-notch number one boss, that's what gives you your confidence. So your confidence comes from external forces and not internal forces. But when leaders have confidence, they're able to usher people to the front. They're able to light other people's candles so they too can shine. Mm-hmm. So what are the attributes of a confident leader? Let's look at 5 of them. Number 1, confident leaders are conscious of their purpose. Confident leaders are conscious of their purpose. Knowledge of your purpose makes you secure and confident. And when you know your purpose, you know that you don't have to compete with anybody. Mm-hmm. It's like the ears know what their function and their purpose is. So the ears don't have to compete with the mouth. Mm-hmm. And the mouth doesn't have to compete with the nose, because each element has a particular purpose to serve. Mm-hmm. And if the ears do their job, then the whole body progresses. If the mouth does its job, the whole body progresses. But when leaders lack confidence, they may be the ears, but then they want to become the mouth. Mm-hmm. They may be the mouth, but they want to become the nose. Mm-hmm. And they end up disrupting a beautiful system. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's when you don't know your purpose, you tend to compete a lot. And if I'm competing with somebody, I'm not going to help them progress. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a leader and if I'm a CEO, for example, and I'm competing with one of the managers,
with the
financial director,
or the CFO, yeah,
I'm gonna get in his way. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't succeed. Why? Because I'm in competition with a particular person, and if they fail, I feel good about myself. Yeah. So it's important for leaders to have confidence and to know their purpose and be aware of what their particular function is, so that they allow other people to progress and don't compete with people that are meant to help progress. So number 1, confident leaders are conscious of their purpose. Number 2, confident leaders connect. So there's a saying I love that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Mm-hmm. And in this time, in this particular dispensation, we need leaders who have more compassion than passion. Mm-hmm. We need leaders who are able to lead with their hearts and not just with their heads. And when you are a leader who is able to connect with people, you'll be able to move people. Just as if I want to move this chair, I need to physically connect to it.
You need to touch it.
I need to touch it. So we need leaders who will touch our hearts, leaders who we know these people, they have our best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And when those leaders speak, we can, we have built rapport with them, we trust them. And so when they speak, we're able to move. Mm-hmm. Because why? They have connected. So number 2, confident leaders connect. Number 3, confident leaders congratulate. Confident leaders congratulate. Leaders who lack confidence are always trying to hoard the credit and receive all the praise. Exactly. And I'm sure many of us, I was listening to one of my mentors, and he was speaking about a company that he worked at many years ago, where he'd come up with all these ideas, and then his direct manager would take the ideas and present them as his own, give him no credit, and he'd get all these promotions, etc. Eventually, he left the company because he saw that in this company, I will not progress. I'll not go anywhere because my ideas are being presented as somebody else's ideas, and they're getting all the credit. And the funny thing about such leaders is that when there is a victory, they want all the credit for the victory. But when there's a loss, they shift the blame.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of leaders who lack confidence, because, as I said, they need the recognition in order to build it. So their confidence comes from external forces as opposed to internal forces. So number 3, confident leaders congratulate. Number 4, confident leaders conceive. It was the great African leader and revolutionary Thomas Sankara who said, "We must dare to invent the future. Everything man is capable of imagining, he can create." Even in this climate where people are saying it's impossible to succeed, there are leaders who are conceiving new ideas. There are leaders who are building new businesses. There are leaders who are creating new programs and so forth. And what separates them is the fact that they act on the ideas. So they don't just conceive. If you think about pregnancy, they don't just give birth to the baby, they raise the baby.
Yeah.
They give birth to the baby, but they feed the baby so the baby can grow. So number 4, confident leaders conceive. And, they act on the ideas. And when you conceive ideas and act on them, your confidence will skyrocket. If you start a business or you start an initiative and you see it grow, you see it come into fruition, to full fruition, and you see it bearing fruits, your confidence is going to skyrocket, because there's something to point at and say, what, I did this. And immediately, your internal levels of confidence are gonna go up. So number 4, confident leaders conceive. Number 5, confident leaders conclude. Confident leaders conclude. There are so many people that start things in this world, but how many of them actually finish? When you look back at your leadership journey or at your life, all you see are unfinished projects. You say, I started that, but I left it in its infancy. I started that, I didn't quite finish. I started that, I abandoned it. Your view of yourself is going to diminish, because you'll be measuring yourself by unfinished products. Every leader needs to have a couple of trophies on their shelf. When you have trophies on your shelf, you have things that you can point at and say, what, I started that and I finished that. I started this and I finished this. And that builds your internal confidence. Your confidence, as I said, is going to skyrocket. And, when you are somebody who always starts things and doesn't finish them, you also lose credibility with people. Because people are always watching, especially if you're a leader, people are always watching what did you do? What have you done? Exactly. That's why they look for your resume as well, because your resume tells us what you've started and what you've finished. If your resume says, you started your MBA but incomplete, it says a lot about you. And it doesn't give us confidence in you to trust you and have the kind of credibility and trust that we should have in our leaders. So we say, number 1, confident leaders are conscious of their purpose. Number 2, confident leaders connect. Number 3, confident leaders congratulate. Number 4, confident leaders conceive. And number 5, confident leaders conclude. That's building your leadership confidence.
Okay, that's building your leadership confidence.
Yes, ma'am.
With confidence.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that confidence. It's always such a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.
Just getting a few things into perspective. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
We'll see you next week.
100%.
We're going to be giving more, I suppose, what do we call it? Maele. Yeah?
Maele, yeah, I get my. But thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. If you're just joining us, it is 14 minutes after 5.